Hello there, everyone. This is the Angels Chess channel. Welcome. Um, I'm just gonna be playing some games on here and show you my thought process. My peak is currently 2222 on chess.com. I declined a bit, but I'm trying to get back up there. Hopefully, I'll reach 2300 before the end of 2026. That would be very nice. I'm also trying to get my blitz rating up, which is actually lacking more so than my rapid rating. But let's start the game. 2099, fantastic. So we only gain 6 points when we win. That's fine. So I lately have been trying to play as many gambits as possible. Creates for the most fun games. And I'm decently good at making my opponent play bad. So that's usually my tactic here. I play the Black Mardimer gambit. He takes it, but he doesn't take the second time, which means we just get a fine center here. Bishop g4 is more or less what I expected, yeah. After knight f3, if he takes, I have to take back with the pawn, because otherwise, if I take back with the queen, he takes my d4 pawn. Or I can just play bishop e2, take back with the knight, and my center is nicely defended, and I have the open f-file. Now I can play e5 to open up this file at a certain point when it suits me. Now he's gonna castle on the next move, whatever I do. So we might want to start preparing a nice attack, which means we probably want to play knight g3 to get as many pieces as possible into this side of the board for the attack. So let's just play knight g3. Now this pawn is a bit weak now because it's only defended by my queen, but there's no good way he can put pressure on it. This I maybe just take, but I think I'll just push if we play c5. Now let's play bishop here. I can see him play knight g4 at a certain point if he prepares it. Now he's definitely preparing c5 eventually. I think I'm gonna play queen f3 here. I'll be fine. Now this still is just not fantastic. I can just push, getting a passed pawn, which is fantastic. If I push though, he has knight e5, so I maybe have to watch out for that. My next move is probably going to be rook a1, getting the rook on the same file as the queen, and getting because this file is semi-open, which just means there's one pawn on it, I can exert some control over the position. I already have the f-file, so my position is doing pretty well. Now b4 I'm not afraid of at all. There's not much he does with b4. I can just reroute my knight and get it into this side of the board and just keep attacking. Now I do want to play a3 here, because if I abandon my knight, then he can just take it and gobble up all my pawns, which is not desirable. Now he's probably going to play b4 here, right? I'm just going to pre-move taking it, since that's pretty much the only move. I can go back with a bishop then. Like if take, queen b4. He's looking at the b2 pawn, so I might have to go back, which I don't really mind, because the bishop is looking at the same diagonal, and this is aptly defended. So the bishop doesn't have any major responsibilities it leaves behind by going to c1. I do wonder if he plays b4 now. No, he plays d5. I mean c5. Interesting move. Interesting move. Is it to prepare b4? I know he's not scared if I take. I'm also just not gonna take. If I play d5 and he goes there, what happens? What happens? Looks at these squares. I think I can just go back in that situation, right? Does he go like c4? I'm not scared of c4, just go back. And I think he's just being too loosey loosey-goosey with his pieces there. So I'm just gonna push here. Knight d5, oh, knight e5, more than likely incoming, which I'm not mad about at all. That's fine. See if he actually plays it though. I don't mind trading this off first. It's also very logical if he does that. Now you might just go to g4. But I'm not worried about that either. Yeah, so I haven't been able to mount a good attack on the king, on his king yet. But I do think I have a pretty decent position. His pawns here are pretty loose. Like, their c5, for example, is well defended here. But if he lets me play d6, it's going to be a whole different story. And as well, these pieces can't just stay defending this, because they have to participate in the game, or he's playing basically with 2 pieces less, which is just not very smart, you know. So I do think I have a decent position because of these pawns, the open lines, and my pawns in the center, which are well defended, then my queen and knights. Let's see what he does here. He's having a think. He does take, makes sense. Now he plays knight e5. Maybe I actually have this here. I don't know if that's that much better. He still has this knight c4, but I think my queen is more active there. I don't really want to put my queen on e2 because that leaves it susceptible to discovered attacks from his rooks. So yeah, I'm probably going to be playing this here. Now knight c4 is incoming, looking like a fork, but I could just go back to defend, and I restrict this knight at the same time, and then I can try to play d6. Now if he goes here, that's fine. I just go to e4, and it's backed up by my other knight. I'm up on time. Yeah, I think he just has to play rook a8 or rook fd8 is significantly worse actually because of this threat here, so he can't move his knight then. So rook a8. Let's see if he plays it though. I think after rook a8 I play knight e4, contesting the center a bit more. I could also play rook fe1, but I'm not really a fan of rook fe1. I think I just want to play this. But also, it's a difficult decision, this. Maybe I want to play bishop. Bishop, what am I talking about? Knight c, because this is defended twice by my queen and rook, so that's fine. And now if I take, he doesn't, like, he's attacking the pawn, but he's not threatening to ruin my structure by taking the knight. So I think knight c is better. We'll see in the analysis after the game though, and I'm sure the computer will tell me, nah, you played like the worst player I've ever seen, which is what I'm used to by now, so I don't really mind it. He can bully me however much he wants. Can't I just play this? I don't think. Yeah, okay, this is kind of a weird move on his part. Sorry for the weird sounds if you hear them. That's just the creaking of my microphone and chair. Now if I go here, he undoubtedly goes rook fe8, right? And what does he have any good discovered attacks if I take there? is that. I think he does have good discovered attacks. Unfortunately, yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to trade this off. Either way, really, because this is check. But then he's also looking at this. But I don't think I want to give his bishop that position. I think I just wanna keep him there, you know. I just wanna keep him having a position which is less than ideal, really. And I think I just want to play this here now. And I'm trying to ruin a structure. Might go back with the bishop, although I think that's a mistake. Because if I play d6, and he takes with the rook, then I take with the rook, he takes with bishop, and I ruin the structure anyway. And then I'm threatening mate after knight h5. So he has to move his knight back, but then I take the rook. Does he have anything else? I don't think he does. Like, he can take here, which, yeah, that's what I expected. Although here I'm threatening to take the rook, so he kind of has to take on f6. After which I can take on g3. And his king is more vulnerable than mine. Now that's a mistake. A big one as well. I'm just threatening mate here. If he plays g6, I'm threatening mate on the next move. So I think if my spidey senses, or just, you know, my calculation senses don't fail me, this should be game over. Very classic mate. He can't stop a combination of bishop f6 and queen h6. Yeah, I don't think he has desperados as well. Yeah, I think this game was partly decided by the fact he put his queen on e5 and then played b5, because there's just no mobility for this queen. If he goes here, he's just looking at the pawn. Yeah, that's more or less what I expected. Well, let's see how well I played, right? Let's see now how badly I played, actually. 65%. Damn, I suck. Well, let's see where I messed up. The computers don't like the Black Mardeemer Gambit anyway. Yep, this makes sense. Taking with the knight was wrong, because if he takes with the queen here, I just get development, and that's fine. I don't mind. I get it. This gives more initiative because the bishop is not yet developed. So if you play like rook f1, for example, here, you have more of an initiative against this king. After knight e4, which is what the engine suggests, I think you may even be able to play like this. Like, it doesn't say it's the best move, but let's see. Oh, it's a blunder. Why is it a blunder? He can just move his king and you have nothing. That's disappointing. It would be a fun sacrifice though. Let's see. Knight g3 was a miss. I should have played that immediately. And then? I don't see where my advantage lies here. Is it just the center? I guess that makes sense. I do think that this is a way more comfortable position than I have in the game, so I guess it makes sense that e5 is the best move. Still e5, still e5, still e5. Yeah, I think the reason I'm just hesitant about playing e5 in these kinds of positions is because you can just jump into here, and I don't like that confrontation for some reason. But it's literally nothing to worry about. Here I can even take and be better. I mean, these are just difficult positions to actually take advantage of your advantage, in my opinion. Maybe some of you have a different perspective. What if he plays like rook c8 here? Okay, it shoots up to 2.5. Because you don't have any. Okay, yeah. So you have to play f5. Okay, but if he takes with knight, I take on e6, right? With check. Is that why I'm better? Is this simple threat of queen g4 really that menacing? What if I played g6 immediately? Like, I know it weakens the dark square significantly, but I don't have anything immediately, right? It's a fine move. Rook to the side. Bishop f8. Yeah, that's what I thought. I think, yeah, this is a fine move as well. I don't think f5 was completely necessary. Just gives me a more comfortable position to play with. Because in this variation with f5, he takes with knight, just take e6. And honestly, if I was black, I would rather be in the other position than this. But alright. Yeah, queen a5 was a miss. Doesn't say a blunder, but I do think that these pawns just restricted the knight too much, and he was on the wrong side of the board the entire time. e5 here? e5, really? What if he takes here and then you just take it back here? No, you don't care. Interesting. And if he goes here, for example, of course you just take. Well, take is not good because he attacks you. But this, and you still have the same threat. I didn't know queen g4 was so menacing in this position. It's absolutely bonkers. But alright. Let's move on. So, being too conservative here, I apparently shouldn't have cared about these pawns at all. Should have thought them they're adopted. At least knight d6 was good. Knight takes d6. I have something. This was also great. That was also great. And that is just mate. Yeah, there's nothing you can do here. Let's see. You should have taken. And I was looking at this position. Yeah, queen back is probably the only move. And I don't know if I like queen check. I kind of would want to play queen f6 and then push d6, defended by the queen and rook. Like, I don't really care too much about that pawn, because even I know Stockfish says this is the best move, but after he moves here, yeah, I know I can take that, but I don't really care that much about the f6 pawn in this position, because he now has like rook g8. Makes it more uncomfortable for me. I think I'd rather just play queen f6. Is that just losing? It's an inaccuracy because he gets the rook in this way. I guess that makes sense, right? But spinned? Yeah. But yeah, that was the game. Thank you everyone for watching. If you have any opening recommendations or type, format, time recommendations, then you can leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.